it's difficult for people to understand where to put questions. They put
Yeah,
like
yeah, for sure.
some question on Telegram, some question on Discord, some question on Twitter. We should be more
Yeah, for sure.
more
I
precise.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Let's see.
100%. Welcome, Non-Lethe. How are you, sir? Our most devoted follower. He's at every
Ah,
event. I love it.
here we have
Thank you.
a few questions on the tweet for the event, so we'll get to those here.
Nice. Yeah,
First,
let's
give
give it a
everyone
few
a
minutes,
minute.
see if some folks
Yeah.
stream in.
Give me a second, because with this Twitter Spaces, I'm terrified about changing pages and go out
Oh, I
for
know.
errors.
Exiting on accidentally. Yeah,
So I'm
right.
logged by it.
Oh my God.
So this time I used the phone, and so I can use
You don't. Yeah,
the computer.
there you go. You don't know the panic I felt when my browser crashed last week. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Yep. And as always, no pressure or no need to, but I'm going to invite you to speak, Nanlete, if you want to come out up here and hang out. Remember, this is nothing formal. This is just a hangout, an AMA format where people can come and hang out with the team and ask questions and get some information answered. So feel free if you'd like.
Yeah, there is I think 3 questions on the Twitter from the episode.
Okay, cool. Well, we're about 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes in, so I guess we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
JPN, do you have those pulled up by chance?
Yes, I do. I'll pitch them here, and the first one is from
Cool.
Non-Lethe here, who's joining us. Thank you. But you posted it over on the Twitter thread, so I'll go ahead and read that here. The first question is, we don't fully understand how the registry system is, and I think you're referring to the new part where we're going to sort of track the coins that interact with our protocol and make sort of a decentralized CoinGecko. How does it differ from platforms like DEX Tools and CoinMarketCap? Who provides the information for the projects, and why would they choose to update on the registry first? Toshi, this is all you. This is your brainchild here. I think it's a really cool idea, but do you want to talk a little bit more about the registry system?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting question, because we still didn't write a lot about it. We just did it in the background, and yeah. So I think that so it's let's talk about items. So with item, we wanted to solve like a very important issue. It's the smallest of the issue that we wanted to solve, but it's a very important issue, which was the tokens information listing and all of these things. Because crypto is very bro ecosystem now. Not because people are bad, but because the tools are very bad. So the situation is this: if you have a project, in general, it's very difficult to like list it correctly in different websites, and also it's very about the connections. It's very about, oh, I'm friend of this and friend of that. This is why for us it's very fast. But going forward, the thing is that one of our mission with all of our tools, as you know, because we really work into creating infrastructure that let people govern money without need to trust each other, without the need to have a team in the middle that orchestrates the governance and the money to be sure that people don't drag each other, because this is the main mission, the main goal. How to solve the problem about information of a token?
Right.
What is the right information if it's not a team managed thing? I know that it doesn't sound so fundamental as a problem, but it is for different reasons. Because, for example, like some smart people can be very and create something which is very cool, but if they don't have the right connection, it's very difficult to be so. That's wrong.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And so with Item, we pretty much solved these things into, okay, let's having the factory system, let's add the information and everything.
Yeah.
What about the without items? And so the registry, it's a very fundamental tool, I think, for the future of Ethereum, because so imagine that we have the node nation. Okay, the node nation is a set of different tools here and there. And what's happening is that when someone interacts with one of our tools, when a token on NFT collection interacts with one of our tools, this is listed to us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you build tokens for NFTs by our platform, it's automatically listed. The metadata of the NFT, the ERC20, they're on-chain, very cool, and so on. But what's happened to other projects? What's happened to other tokens? Okay.
Right.
Because what's happened is that if the tokens have the ownership standard, like that all of the NFT collection they have, and 90% of the token they have, they can directly push the information to the registry as they have metadata in their own. And so people can have the most updated information that all of the teams can share without zero connection with some, I don't know, humans and so on.
Right.
And
right. Not have to rely on a centralized factor.
Exactly.
Which is the whole point.
And like, why this is fundamental, for example, for our tokens that built by the platform itself. Because like most of the tokens and NFT collection, they have these ownership standards right now, which is pretty much a mess, as much as they saw in different contracts, because you have the ownership and you renounce the ownership. And with the ownership, you can do a lot of things and also run people. And so it doesn't make sense that like people renounce about the ownership of a token to renounce of the tools that can run people.
Right.
And so, for example, in our token design and NFT collection design, like the standard ownership function is just for metadata and royalties settings into our registry, which royalties interact with the bazaar. And if it's an NFT collection with all of the tools around NFTs. And all of the other ownership standards, like mint, taxes, and so on, or whitelist and so on, they have a specific ownership for all of them in a totally granular way. And so this means that you can remain ownership of the metadata of the information, even if you're not owner of the mint, of the change taxes, and all of these different tools. And so, and I think it's pretty much fundamental. And also, it will be fundamental in marketing terms, because it will be the fastest place and the most cheaper place to put information of a new project, NFT token, in the fastest way possible at the small amount possible. Because, for example, like when a new project is released, okay, no matter if it's legit, a meme, an NFT collection, or whatever, just a project in general. What's happened is that the first step that usually projects use is back tools. But back tools, it have like 4 to 5 hours to update the informations. It is the fastest one. And it costs like 0.5 Ethereum or so to update it. We did a very cool marketing research as well to all of this. And our donation is the place where you can update. So if the token is made into the donation, it's like in the moment it exists, you already have the information. But for every external token, there is a bit of lag that maybe you can solve in like 1 minute or something. And the only request for external project, whenever they arrive in the registry because they add pool in the bazaar, or because they create farming, or because they want to create a DAO or whatever, is to just lock a bit of liquidity into the bazaar. And so instead of spending 0.5 ETH to us, like the DEX tools, you just lock an amount of liquidity into the bazaar, okay? Yeah. Which is also good for users because you are securing user for this specific liquidity. And also, the other factor is that it will be very similar to DEX tools in terms of security of the tokens. And obviously, this will be better because with our token standards, you can really see all of the information about the token. You can see all of the trades. You can see the prices and all of this information. You can see also how this token is used because there is the information of the DAO, the information of different financial contracts, and so on, both for NFTs collection and ERC20. And you can see like all of the orders, the liquidity, and pretty much everything. And so this would be. I know this sounds like a not fundamental thing in technological terms, but trust me that in marketing terms, this is very powerful.
Right. And paying a centralized entity 0.5 ETH, waiting a couple of hours, relying on bro connections. I mean, that's not scalable, right? And that's why you guys rebuilt the system from the ground up.
But you know how much money they made?
Directly from there. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? Thing, yeah. What happens is that's just revenue for the DEX tools team, the off the books revenue, right? And so that's your
DEX tools, Etherscan.
Absolutely.
Like for example, Etherscan say you we can take 1 week before to list of information, but if you pay 1.5K, we can do it in 24 hours.
In 1 day, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's simple.
Just like the audit game,
it's very simple because, for example, like on Etherscan, like we did for non, like and every time, like you sign with the wallet of the creator to secure that this is you. And so why you just don't build me a form with metadata that I can update whenever I want? Doesn't make sense to have someone in the middle who take the information, put it there, and so on. So that's the thing.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so that's the whole thing, right? Is we're streamlining and making it more efficient. And as projects come and tokens are created, things like this, right? This will be like a live thing. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, that's going to be disruption right there. And that takes me back to August of 2020, I mean, you guys have been working on this issue since back then, right? Of why do we have to get the token information from a centralized source of information when we have the Ethereum blockchain right here? Why would we ever put a centralized, gate in the middle
but
to
for
find
example,
out this information?
If you have 100%, community-oriented tokens or whatever, you can just use our protocol to manage this metadata thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, because like, it's part of our mission, right, to remove as much as possible the needs of a team in the middle. So that's
absolutely to work towards true decentralization and no centralized entities, no middlemen. Absolutely. Great answer, Toshi. Let me just welcome in iPad Tools and Friend. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're just getting to some questions on Twitter that were asked in response to the Non episode 2 yesterday, where Toshi went over the differences between non-nation and the non-beta economies.
Yeah, this registry is really cool because, as you guys were saying, it really takes the idea of, we're not going to need to rely on a centralized actor to go update the token metadata here because we wanted to do that. It's like, no, you can just get it listed immediately for locking a little bit of liquidity. It can be updated by the token. This is the on-chain version of those things, and we can rely on the on-chain data to update it. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the path forward, right? I mean, this is not a sustainable system, right? Where it's bro, and you have to pay these people to, in order to list things like this. As Ethereum scales in the future, right, and becomes, the future of finance. That's not a sustainable system, right? So it's better that we're intervening to fix this now.
Yeah, but also like
Show the way.
I strongly believe that this will be like for token information a very reliable tool that also like this project maybe will interact with to having information before and and stop using these middlemans into the thing. So it's not like we're not trying to fight them, but we are trying to create these tools that they also can use to improve their product.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so there is other two questions I see on the thread.
And real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and invite any guests that are here too to go ahead and speak if you'd like to ask questions live in between while we're getting to the written questions. So don't be shy. You can come up and hang out here with us if you'd like. So no pressure.
And yeah, in the meantime, I just read one. How will the involvement? Oh, this is I think is very specific to the event. How will the involvement of delegations work in Nation? How will entity receive funding from the protocol or be able to fund other entities? That I'm assuming it can be attached to one entity to another, like a partnership. How will grant from the earnings splitter looks like in non? I mean, I thank you for the question to clarify, but I think that all of this information are already out, like already into the known beta and so on, because like it's not about will. Like for example, if you go to the known beta, like the funding is about like different protocols and for example like the usage and this kind of fee that you program when you build like your own protocol, for example, or you can use like a lot of ways, but anyone can. So any contract on Ethereum can send the money to the splitter or into like an entity in general. And obviously the splitter is able to send money to every other wallet and so on. So you can have an organization, a DAO, who just send money to other DAO, yeah. And the delegation system is another system that you already see, for example, into the known beta, which basically like you can attach to an entity and you receive grants from the splitter. Obviously, this like it's like based on how the splitter works. For example, in known beta is 40% of the earnings that go to the delegations. And this happens automatically. It's not like something that there is someone who do this. And what's happened is that like when there is a rebalance, it just send this Ethereum based on how much like people stake into one delegation or the other. So the delegation that have more supporters, they receive more funds. And this is the known beta. In the known nation, this thing is pretty much cooler because it's not just about, okay, there is like this specific block where funds are splitted in between all of the delegation, but it's more like farming. So you have, it starts a season, okay, and every block delegation earn part of the grants based on how much support they have every block. And so this took delegations to be active with users in time instead of being more active during the period of the rebalance. But these are
Right.
it's already like the things that works now in the known beta and always been part of the protocol and how it works.
Yeah, it's going to be very similar to how it was before. So instead of delegations attaching to the entity, like we have non-viral attached to the non-beta here, it's just going to be other organizations able to attach to the organization. and we are calling them partnerships. It's exactly that. So it's going to work the same way. The Treasury splitter, instead of sending it to the delegations, it's just going to look at all the attached entities, all the attached partnerships, and split it up based on the stake that way. So it works very similar to now, but instead of needing to be a delegation to attach to an entity, entities can attach to other entities. And the reason that's powerful is, because right now delegations are sort of gimped entities in a way. They have limited functionality. They really rely on the host. In the new system, through partnerships, they get to be their own standalone operational. They're full-fledged entities now, and they can just establish these partnerships. So mechanically, it's going to work very similarly, but this gives the delegations the ability to basically have a full-fledged organization themselves, rather than have to run, sort of the limited version that we have now.
So basically, like, it's just that the delegation is a function to an organization. So this is like pretty much the same, but the system is the same.
Yep.
And we just simplified the stack for this, because at some point we figured out, why we should have two different versions of things when it's just like a tool. And so we figured out what's better to have in this way.
Yep. That makes sense. So we got a new question from non-Gumbercools on the post yesterday. Question was, can you talk more about the non-burst toolset? Also, since it will be launched on Optimism, do you have thoughts about how the Bazaar and Non-Nation might fit into a super chain future?
So I will reply first of all in the second part of the question, because it's very cool. So so during this beta period of the non-beta, like we have Ethereum and we have Optimism, and Optimism was pretty much like a way also to test, the colony thing, and so so you have an organization in one layer, but you have the protocol into also another layer, and you can say, okay, so I have earnings from the protocol, but I send to the main organization. So in the new concept, it will be more like evolved, because a colony is another organization with a splitter that is able to send some money to another layer. And so, for example, like there is some function into the Bazaar that can be voted in layer 1 and in layer 2, for example. But obviously the main earnings from the layer 2 will go to layer 1. This is for our specific organization. Everyone can manage these things in the way they want. I strongly believe that once we have the Non-Nation released, there will be a lot of other deployments into other layers. Once we have done this specific step, obviously we are more interested into legit layer 2s, because we think that our product fits better for like places where there is like more interesting projects.
Right, more commerce is taking place.
Yeah, and so I think, like, I don't know, like so for example, like I'm very interested into, like ZK rollups, and I'm starting, obviously, uh, as I always say, so this is my personal opinion. I don't believe into a multi-chain future, because I think that all of the community will go somewhere into one specific layer, because it's like uncommon that people go and do things into different layers, because it's just kind of like a mess and create a lot of problems of routing. And so we will see, but we will try to be into most of the coolest layers possible, and then to pretty much everywhere, I think, at some point.
Yeah. I saw your tweet the other day. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm following a lot, because one of the problems of ZK rollups at the moment is that they are very cool, but they are not everyone compatible, which is which is very important for people and for developers, because
Absolutely.
this is the concept for all of these things. It's like, oh, we built, I don't know, like a MacBook Pro, and being everyone compatible is I don't know, be compatible with a very old Windows 95, and they're building like the last version of macOS, and so you say, okay, this makes sense. And I see, for example, in this suite, from Starknet, that there is this project which also I like for the name Kakarot, which is doing everyone compatibility to Starknet, and I think it's pretty straightforward. And so,
interesting. EVM compatibility to Starknet, huh?
Yep.
Interesting. What was it called?
Kakarot, EVM.
Okay. I gotta look that up. Interesting.
Dragon Ball reference?
No, they are not posting. They're not posting Goku every 10 minutes into the Telegram. No.
That's awesome. All right. So we got 3 guests here. We're coming up on 30 minutes. Do we have any other questions?
There is another question here that I see, just to reply quickly. With the non-nation, will creating an entity would be the equivalent of E2S organization, where an entity could create a delegation setup, have an ability to manage investment fund, current E2S governance setup. What won't an entity have access that current E2S org has? So, yeah, that's a good question. I think so. In the non-nation, organizations in general, they can pretty much attach a lot of different tools. We have the built by the team tools, which are investment funds, which are delegation system, or partnership, or whatever. They have there is the inflation tools. There is the splitter tools to split money. There is very simple sub DAOs to manage earnings that you can attach with your product very quickly, and create cool sub DAOs like ours for managing fees from the protocol and so on. And there is all of this tool to manage the money of a protocol, which is our main goal. And all of these tools are made to don't drag each other, pretty much.
Yeah.
And also for farming, obviously, and everything you see. And it's very, very correlated to the bazaar. All of the financial transfers. In E2S, it's a different system, because it's so E2S, it's less so with the non-nation, it's pretty much a straightforward thing, because we have all of this ecosystem that having the AMM as a base layer, it's worked for pretty perfectly each other, and that's a very cool experiment. The E2S or non-beta or whatever we want to call it is this. and it's like it's a different approach because it's more like a legal money approach. So we don't hold the IMMs like Uniswap and this kind of thing. So it's not like perfectly compatible, but it's compatible on top. And there is this, different approach to ask to other developers to create pieces instead of having more importance to the like perfectly matched into an ecosystem one like an nation. And so I think they are both like two straightforward experiments. Obviously, as known team, we strongly believe in a known nation will be incredibly powerful for end users. But I think that, as I said in the video, I think that also like non-beta evolution, it can be incredibly powerful for its, legal money mindset thing. And so I think it will be very, very cool if the community continues to support it, and going forward, I think it will be like a very incredible idea, and it can be like the main competitor of actually the nomination. I think the only competitor at the moment. In terms of
it's going to be pretty cool to see how it plays out, and how the two systems complement each other or compete against each other, like you mentioned. So it's going to be exciting to see. Let's see. All right, we're about 35 minutes in. Do we have any other questions in the Telegram or on Twitter or in Discord that we see? And again, I've invited everybody in the audience to giving you guys speaking privileges. So if you'd like to come on up and you thought of any last minute questions, or you want to come hang out and just say hi to the team, feel free to come on up. Let's see, checking the Telegram. I can't see anything.
I haven't seen anything there. I don't see any new posts. We may have covered it all. We have did we want to circle around at all to what the non-verse tools are going to have? I know we talked a little bit about the future of like optimism and stuff, but did we talk at all about the non-verse tool set that we're going to have?
That might be some alpha we may have to drop a different day. What do you think, Toshi? I think good question though, Greg. I like it, and keep up the good work you're doing. It's pretty cool to watch what's going on over there in Ordinal land. So cool. Okay, great. Anything that you want to touch base on, Toshi or JPN, before we wrap up here?
Only thing I got is we're at a point in another cycle here where there's tether FUD, so that's fun.
We've reached that point of the cycle. Yep. Very cool.
What is happening? I'm not reading.
There's some tether FUD. Apparently, CoinDesk got some stuff from the New York Attorney General that tether is now saying is outdated. So we'll have to wait and see what comes out with that. And then also, I know in the Curve 3 pool, the one with USDC, DAI, and tether, it's composed of like more than 70% tether at this point. People are selling tether, trying to get out of tether.
Yeah. Well, somebody posted a tweet saying, "Oh my God!" And of course, it's the Bitcoin. Tether is crashing. Tether is depegging. It was like 0.9989 is when it crashed down to.
It is depegged a little bit right now. Not much, but a little bit.
Depegged to 9960. Like, come on.
I take my distances from your supporting Tether thing. I want to say.
I don't support it. That's for sure. I just watched the Twitter reactions, and I think the hyperbole is funny. I definitely don't support it. I do not.
No, just joking. Just joking. Just joking.
I think that they're one of the most opaque entities in crypto, and we're here to decentralization needs to reign supreme, not these opaque entities. So yeah, I completely agree.
I think
Show us the reserves. Show us the reserves.
Yeah,
they will
exactly.
never.
Oh goodness, no.
So she's right. They will not.
I think.
Agreed.
I think the only thing that I want to say to everyone, I think that probably there will be some chaos in the crypto space in the short term. So stay safe.
Yeah.
Don't go to put your money in every protocol correlated to two entities, not the non-beta entities, like two entities that everyone know who I'm talking about. Everyone who follow me know, because one of these with the B and one of these with the T, and so stay safe.
Yeah. Yep. Very sage and prescient advice. I agree completely. Definitely stay safe out there. There has been, I know some of these are unthinkable things and collapses, but we've had unthinkable things collapse before too. So, and not saying there will be any kind of collapse, but definitely great advice, Toshi, for everybody to stay safe. So, and again, want to thank those of you who showed up and those of you who will listen to this Spaces recording in the near future. And remember, we're here every Thursday to answer questions and to hang out and come on, and join and stop on by and say hello. It doesn't have to be anything formal. You don't even have to bring a question. If you just want to pop in and just say hello, we're glad to have you here. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up for the day. So thank you very much, Toshi, for answering the questions. Thank you, JPN. And we'll go ahead and convene, and we'll see everybody on Monday for